unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What is up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast.
Yeah.
Hi.
Really?
Are you all right?
I'm just hanging out listening to the music.
Oh, okay.
That was a long one.
It's called a pregnant pause.
A pregnant pause.
It's a pregnant
Going into
pause.
its fourth term.
We're gonna fucking we're gonna prematurely pop that guy out.
Okay, all right.
All right. Well,
we're
goodbye, everybody.
off and running. This is a really good start. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us live here at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. We are a gaming talk show brought to you by the producers of Limit Break Radio, supported on Patreon, patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. We are just shy. Right now, we are a little bit below our $2,000 a month goal to keep the show each and every single week. If you'd like to support the content that we make, that's patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Keep this show each and every single week. Thank you guys for joining us here live on the program. So I'm sure that maybe some of you are finding the show for the first time because of the Safari Zone Go Twitter account. I'd like to welcome you to the show. This is I'm Nate, but I'm also known on Twitter now kind of infamously, I guess.
Balboa.
It's Bayoba.
It's Balba.
Bayoba.
Saboba.
Baoba? Whatever. Fine. Anyway,
I am betting everything on Sabalba. He always wins.
What's funny about it?
What are you talking about?
What's funny about it is, okay. So I started the Twitter account a couple of weeks ago. I told you guys about it. I had started taking screenshots to troll these guys in the Facebook chat that we have.
He's such a monster.
I know.
You don't even know.
It's terrible. Well, they do know because now I'm sharing it with the entire internet and triggering the internet through this Twitter account. So that's at Safari Zone Go. If you haven't followed yet, please make sure that you do that. It is, I'm having an enormous amount of fun. But what's interesting is that, okay, so it's been posted to the our Pokemon Go subreddit. It's now been written about on like several blog websites or something like clickbait websites. It's crazy how much attention this thing has gotten. It's grown from like having 100 followers to like almost having 600 followers as
in like
of
a few
doing
days.
as of doing the show, like in 2 days. It's insane how many people have been directed to this thing and how many people are interested in it and jealous of it, and some of the comments that I've gotten on between Reddit and some of these blog posts have been just hysterical. They're absolutely hysterical. So we'll be talking a little bit about Pokemon Go a little bit later
People think
on
we
in
throw
the show.
salt.
Yeah, right? Seriously. But if you're joining us from, because I did tweet out that we were doing an interview with the Safari.
Lie?
Yeah, I did.
Inappropriate.
I did. Well,
You're not allowed to lie on the internet.
well,
Shame.
if you guys want to interview me, you can. I don't know why we would. That would be silly. But
So when was it that you?
But I am
first
the guy, though.
When was it that you first realized you were the Pokemon warden?
You want to know the real answer to that question?
I asked the question.
You guys were here when it happened. It was when the Dragonair popped.
Oh, God.
The very first time that the Dragonair, because
it was before that.
No, because I knew, like, first, I lived next to a fucking river, okay? Like, we knew that there were going to be water types, like, out the ass.
Yeah, we were using Goldines and Poliwags and stuff.
Yeah, like, it was sort of like the rock type, the fire type, and the electric that really, like, that sort of threw everyone through a loop. But, there were some evolved that I was getting, like, but they were like Raticate. It like at that point I think I maybe seen a Scyther, right? But it was the Dragonair. Like you told me, Chris, you had even told me that like you were the first one to alert me that having a Dratini pop was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because I caught one and I was like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I just caught a Dratini, guys. That's kind of cool.
Our collective chat explodes.
And then you guys freaked the fuck out at me. Because honestly, like I had forgotten a lot of my Gen 1 Pokemon knowledge. So
what young times before Nate became the Poke Professor?
Yeah.
My interview question is, why are you a cunt?
Fair point.
Well, Nate?
Great question. Yeah, what's the answer to that?
I think that is...
it was rhetorical!
That is on the mind of a lot of people who have followed this this Twitter account. I don't know. I've no... Like, I'm luck. It's one of the very few things in my life that I've ever actually been lucky about. Come on now. Give me this one fucking thing. Can I not have one thing in my life?
No.
No. I mean,
I bet that was from something.
No, it wasn't.
Was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was from the heart.
His black, charred, tiny, ice-driven heart. It is pretty crazy the amount of attention that this thing has been receiving for the last couple of days. So if you're joining us from the Twitter account, please hit that follow button, hang out. We're going to be, like I said, talking about Pokemon Go here in just a few minutes. But as we do on every show, let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
Chris, what are you dumping things over?
He put his thing on the ground.
Yeah, maybe it's loading on the table.
That's probably appropriate.
All right. Well, enough talking about Pokemon. Instead, let's talk about Pokemon. Pokemon Snap will be released on the Wii U Virtual Console this week for both Europe and Australia. No word yet on when it will release for North America, as we're still listed as to be announced.
And nobody cares.
Oh my god, Pokemon Snap is so much fun.
I feel like the Wii U is perfectly built for Pokemon Snap. I don't know why it's not on.
Hey, Nika.
It kind of, you're not wrong. It really does feel like it's the perfect vehicle for something like Pokemon Snap.
We've got Pokemon Snap right here. Right here. You see it's in my hand right now? It's called a cellular phone.
It's not the same, though. Because in Pokemon Snap, there's actual objectives and certain Pokemon you have to get to do certain things to get extra points. And it's awesome.
Pokemon Snap is great.
I actually played through it all the way in one setting again back in college, and it was so much fun.
It would be interesting if Niantic developed a way to make for the picture aspect of Go to actually be like a game in and of itself. But I mean, that would.
And it gives you how centered is it in the frame. That'll give you points in Pokemon Snap.
That actually, yeah, that's true. That's something that they could end up.
You gotta throw a pester ball at it to get it mad at you.
There you go.
Or we could have an actual Pokemon game come out. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I'm pretty sure that we have one of those. Yeah,
Sun and Moon's on the way, right?
Yeah, like it's
not out right now.
Oh,
but it's on the way.
Yeah, like what is the actual release date for that? Do we know?
November, right?
November. Okay, all right.
It's like a week after, or either a week before or a week after 15's new announced. I think it's a week before.
That's not a measuring stick. That's not a yardstick that anyone else is using.
And by the way, that's a moving goalpost.
Yeah.
That's true. But it is for me because somebody claimed that because 15 is now delayed to around the time of Pokemon, everyone's going to choose Pokemon over 15.
That's not a crazy theory. I mean,
I feel like it's the opposite.
Dude, I don't know. Like, Go has got. You know what? Because Chris said this a couple of weeks ago, and maybe even Robbie had echoed him. But Go has really, I think, ignited a lot of people's interest in the Pokemon franchise overall. And I had poo-pooed that a couple of weeks ago, and I'm feeling it now.
You see, Chris is always right. Just remember that.
Actually, him being right even once.
You've had a stunning track record recently. I gotta say,
but I don't think it's going to be a case of like because they're coming out so close together that people are going to choose Pokemon over FF15.
Well, I don't know if it's going to affect like Pokemon, but I'll say this: the announcement of FF15's delay was good news for Persona 5, as the game saw a 450% boost to its pre-order numbers in a matter of 24 hours after the delay was announced.
Ooh.
So Persona 5 went through the roof.
So
this Cookie's game.
Kooky Persona 5.
I see what you did there.
I love that joke, Nate. It was good.
So so basically what you're saying is that they went from 50 pre-orders to like now maybe 150. Like they did. I mean, they did pretty well.
Something like that.
And that's a percent. You know, when you. Yeah.
It is always nerve-wracking when they put out just a percentage. You're like,
right.
That number probably sounds real impressive for a reason.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The trailer and release date for the final Fallout 4 DLC, Nika World, has been released. The DLC hits August 30th, and file sizes are reported to be larger than that of Far Harbor. The pack costs $20 solo, though it's included in the $50 season pass as well.
Fahaba.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that received very well?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, the game, so far, this is one of the funnest games I've ever played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Far Harbor was pretty well liked, too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then it looks like they're going to be adding more to that. Then,
yeah. Nika World. It's standalone from Far Harbor, but it's the final major expansion of the game, and people are looking forward to it. Cool. Twitch is continuing to expand by purchasing Curse, a game modification, strategy guide, and voice-over IP company that has traffic in the area of 30 million users. The deal has not been finalized yet, and the terms of the deal have not been made public, but it is said to be a matter of when, not if.
Interesting. I mean, Curse has been floating around for a while, although I feel like it never really took root. Like, I don't know anyone. Well, but I don't know anyone who's like all up on that.
Every time I hear Curse, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, oh right, they tried to be a company for a while.
All I know about Curse when I hear them is like, hey, they have a pro team.
Hey,
they have an esports team. That's what I know of them.
Yeah,
I'll see them on the front of YouTube videos once in a while, but that's about it.
Yeah, I feel like they never really made the presence that, like, because they had a lot of investment. There was a lot of money that went into Curse, and I feel like for as much money as was invested and how pro and slick their presentation was, that it never really gained a foothold. But
maybe Twitch will use their competitive advantage to push Curse to something good, to be
uncursed.
I'm sure that they got a big payday from that. So.
Oh, there was definitely a bag of money involved.
As is usually the case when a transaction happens.
Yes, that is true.
Fair enough. Facebook is developing a desktop-based transaction.
Okay.
Facebook is developing a desktop-based app for managing and playing their games in much the same vein as Steam. The system is based in Unity, and developers will be able to export their games directly to Facebook and the desktop app. This move looks to be a response to casual gamers switching away from Facebook and using their phone's mobile stores instead. So
we can have
now you can have your Farmville on Steam.
800 different versions of Bejeweled on your phone.
Can't wait for
or on your desktop.
On your desktop.
Yeah, there's a desktop app.
Oh, okay. Because there's not 800 versions of Bejeweled on Steam itself. We have to go use Facebook for that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that, I mean, like, how many of these services have failed? I mean, like, there have been a lot that have tried to kind of go up against Steam, and it just seems like, why? Anymore? Why?
Why bother? Just
because they're catch up now.
They're successful, so we want to make money too.
And who's downloading onto their desktop an app to let them play casual games?
Right.
Like fucking casual.
Like, what's the difference? Yeah, why do you need a desktop app to load Farmville? Can't you just bookmark Farmville and put the link on your desktop?
I don't know.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't know.
Whatever.
The public test server for Overwatch discovered a new gag from Blizzard this week, as any player who typed GG Easy at the end of a match found their text changed into something else. Replacement phrases include, but are not limited to, gee whiz, that was fun, good playing, and I'm feeling very small right now, please hold me.
It's so good.
These were, like... Go on our website and read the rest of these because they're amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a chance, go on there and read them. They like some of the things that they put in.
Was that just? I mean, was it just overwhelming? How many?
I assume so.
Yeah, after every game.
It's like as a troll to people.
It's just like the dick way of saying GG, I think. And they're like, Blizzard's like, oh my god, how original. Let's fuck with it.
Yeah, let's troll.
I've never had anyone say GG easy.
Really?
Maybe because you're too good.
Never.
Really?
No, really?
Not that I remember. Not to the point where I wished, man, I wish there was a word filter for this.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I mean, almost every game I've been playing has somebody saying that. It's getting really annoying.
Kasumi just mentioned my favorite one. I'm dealing with some insecurity issues, but thank you all for playing with me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, some of them were just outstanding.
Oh, that is too
So just so you know, I use that every single match between rounds all the time. I GG easy.
You're one of those dicks.
No, because it's funny phrases now. It's a fun thing to do.
You're on the PTR, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're now you're trying to purposely
go funny on the PTR.
I get it. Oh god. Oh, Vulpix just popped. That's kind of cool.
And I hatched a Magnemite.
Oh,
yeah. It feels bad,
That's a shame.
man.
Boo.
That's a shame. I don't have a Magneton yet.
Oh my god, I
That's
have like
now that's a shame.
I have like 300
Electric
candy.
Pokemon are a rare commodity. I have to go into DC to get Voltorb or Magnemite. I've never found them anywhere else.
It's really funny because Voltorb and Magnemite are like my Pidgeys.
They really
Oh
are.
my gosh, I've had one Voltorb ever, and I found 2 Magnemites, and I hatched another one.
The last time I did an evolution-a-thon. I evolved like 4 Voltorbs and like 6 Magnemites.
I don't have either of those evolved.
Vulpix is being a dick to him.
Dude, I fucking raspberry grape balled excellent curveball the Vulpix and it got out.
Wow. Did it dash?
No,
it's still there.
Not yet.
It's taunting him. It'll take at least 3 more great balls before it dashes.
I'm triggered.
EA Executive Vice President Patrick Sutherland has hinted in an interview with Game Informer that there will be a remaster of the original Mass Effect games for current-gen systems. He didn't give any details, but said it was absolutely something they were pursuing and mentioned Activision as inspiration for it. This led to speculation they may bundle it with Andromeda, much like Activision is bundling Call of Duty Modern Warfare's remaster in with their new game.
I'm down.
I'm okay.
Unfortunately, Robbie's not here to comment.
I'm not.
No, what? Mass Effect is the best.
Okay,
I'm so
there we
totally
go.
stoked for that. Although, no, yeah, but that came along with an article that talked about how that people were disappointed that there was like no Andromeda at Gamescom, and they're like, "Don't worry, we're focusing on our games this year. Next year, Andromeda will get its due time." And everyone's like, well, what the hell? Everyone took it to mean that Andromeda wasn't being developed.
I'm just look. Remasters are fine. And there's actually a particular generation of game where I'm like specifically fine with them because it's actually a very easy process. Really, all you're doing is up converting and increasing the resolution on on games that pretty much function the same way when you put them on a modern console.
Right.
My problem with them is their price point. Their price point has inflated steadily since they've started coming onto the market, and anymore I am not going to pay $40 for a single remaster game. I
That's
can't
true. If
do
they
that.
bundle this with Andromeda, though, that's totally legit.
Okay, yes, that's fine. If they did like sort of like how BioShock did. BioShock had remastered with what was it? The last one that
with Infinite.
Yeah, they had remastered the first BioShock game, and that came as a freebie when you bought it. Totally down for that. Always 100% down for that. But if you look at the way that Activision is doing it with Call of Duty, and the way that you have to buy the premium version of the thing. No,
you should have to buy it separately. You shouldn't get anything for free nowadays.
You can't even buy it separately. You have to buy the like $90 or $100 price point.
Okay, that's fair.
Collector's edition
or pay $40 for the remaster. I think that's fair.
Fuck that.
Yep. These companies need to make money in this recession nowadays.
It's not
of course, the recession.
But again, and you also get that very real question of like, okay, well, who really actually makes the money off that, and who's getting the money in the end? We know that it's not the voice acting community. They see no residuals off of remasters or
They don't need any more money. Come on, they've already said the lines once. Not going to say it again for the remaster. Why should they get another payout?
Yeah, get your $120 and go fuck off.
Yeah, there you go. Go on to your next thing. Voice acting is easy. Just maintain your vocal consistency and move on with your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris.
What?
Sometimes, man. Sometimes.
Just sometimes.
Fozzie the bear.
Zombies in Spaceland, a co-op multiplayer feature in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, takes us back to the 1980s in the amusement park Spaceland. 4 players team up to survive hordes of zombies in a gameplay mode that feels very similar to Left 4 Dead fans, or very familiar to Left 4 Dead fans.
It feels very similar to like Metal Gear. Isn't Metal Gear like a co-op game nowadays?
I'm gonna stab you.
Good, because I'm too far away to do so, but I would love to as well.
There are
You got, like,
scissors right
crystals on
there.
I know. I'm looking at them.
If you get a chance, go to the website, grab the link, or Kookie will post the link in the chat if you're watching live.
When you said Spaceland, I legit thought you meant they were making like an amusement park based on Call of Duty, and I got a little bit excited.
Oh no, it is a 1980s amusement park called Spaceland that you are playing in.
But you don't actually. That's not a real place.
No.
Damn. If they made a video game theme park at all, I would be totally down for going.
Sadly, I'm sure it would be Call of Duty themed if that ever actually happened. But no.
But how cool would some of those rides be? Like the Buzz Lightyear one at Disney, it would be like a Call of Duty one where you're like going through all these zombies and you got a gun and you like try to get as many points. That'd be sweet.
I'm just excited there's a co-op multiplayer in a Call of Duty game. That's not something you see tons. I mean, like you have your like team death matches, but like I like this kind of like co-op versus AI sort of thing.
The amount of Doritos and Mountain Dew that you would sell out of that place would just be staggering. It would be staggering. And I'll tell you what, you can get fancy with it. You can get Doritos and then put the nacho cheese on top of the Doritos.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
And then drench that in Mountain Dew.
Exactly. Just
That sounds so delicious.
Solidify
You should make Mountain
all of
Dew
your
flavored
arteries.
Doritos.
If you get a chance to watch the trailer, make sure you do though, because it is so 80s. It's awesome.
They could call it Doritos.
we would watch it. We would watch it on the show, but we've been having trouble with getting flagged.
Activision might get mad.
Yeah, we've been having a problem with content getting flagged by YouTube and by copyright holders. So we're trying to avoid it as much as possible. Obviously, we're going to be watching the Metal Gear trailer.
Yeah.
Because
why do we have to gouge our eyes out on the show?
It looks so good.
No,
This might get me into Metal Gear.
It's gonna be this episode.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that, but
Let's get to that.
No.
The newest trailer for Injustice 2 reveals that both Harley Quinn and Deadshot will be joining the cast. Injustice 2 for the Xbox One and PS4 will be releasing in early 2017. So fans of the first game, you can look forward to that early next quarter.
And the internet released a collective sigh of duh.
Yeah, right. Of course they're in it.
Of course. The two
Was the Joker in
the
it?
two biggest stars.
I think he was in the first
already
one
in it.
Yeah.
The two biggest stars from what was supposed to be the biggest DC property of the year. Or might be, but that's not saying much.
Might
Anyway,
still be, yeah.
Still 3 weeks in a row, number one, I think.
Yeah.
But against what? There's nothing else out.
That's true. Man.
Kingsglaive is out.
Oh yeah, it was in all those theaters around here.
Yeah, right.
All 24 of them.
All right, a new gameplay trailer has released for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard that shows off the aesthetic of the game. It follows a character named Mia as she explores a house filled with infected running amok, and it looks awesome.
Okay.
Like, we got really excited about it at E3 when we did our E3 special.
Yes.
We were shocked that it was a Resident Evil title, which they didn't reveal until the end.
Well, and the demo had come out. I know that I had played the demo. It was pretty good, but felt a lot like PT. You know what I mean? It felt very inspired by PT. So this showing a kind of a different side of what we've already seen for Resident Evil 7. So.
People looking forward to Sister Location were given a scare when the website was replaced with an image that read, "Canceled due to leaks." Of course, anyone who knows FNAF creator Scott Cawthon assumed that there was more to it than that, and of course there was. By putting the image into monochrome and upping the brightness, it becomes a news article that the Sister Location's grand opening was canceled due to gas leaks. The game is slated to release in October.
God damn, how clever is that shit?
Oh, Scott.
And the thing is I mean, I had just watched a MatPat video that sort of like tried to predict what the narrative for Sister Location was going to be.
Yeah.
And it sort of felt like, oh wow, did MatPat like nail it?
And then Scott said, "Well, screw it, I'm not putting it out then."
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a clever
God damn it.
Served.
That is so clever. I love shit like this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when creators will do stuff like this.
Well, this is nothing new to Scott. He does crap like this all
I know,
the time.
but the way that he fucks with his audience is just pure brilliance, and I absolutely love it. I wish I liked the games more. That's the thing. The kind of like, I guess, fucking canon for Five Nights at Freddy's is interesting. Like, I like hearing Matt Pat talk about it. I could never play that shit.
The story is super interesting, and it's interesting because we actually get so little concrete information. It's all speculation,
right,
for the most part, and you have to pick up on the tiniest little details and extrapolate off them. It's cool.
No,
playing the
I
game,
agree,
it's all right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing is I can watch Matt Pat dissect that shit. I don't want to like, and it has nothing to do with the jump scare element. It's just a boring game to me. So
quit wasting my time.
So, in maybe the strangest news I've reported ever on this show.
And that's saying something, because we've reported on Minecraft porn.
Yep. All right,
okay?
I've got to prep myself to
put that in perspective, okay?
Oh, come on.
Minecraft porn was awesome.
A laser-wielding couple wearing pig masks attacked a Pokemon Go player in Sweden.
What?
That just sounds like a weird dream after eating a lot of tacos or something really greasy.
Hey, I'm going to read that again. A laser-wielding couple wearing pig masks attacked a Pokemon Go player in Sweden.
Wait, what kind of laser?
Like a little mini laser
laser?
fire at someone.
Like
that you could actually shoot a laser at someone?
Like one that you could damage someone's eyes with.
Like a laser pointer.
Like a cat
I was thinking
toy.
like a
laser
lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
What?
That was a
Nika. You know that those don't exist in real life.
But you
like,
can
those
hit. They do not to the same extent. But you can take a lightsaber and hit someone with it.
Sure. Two siblings
like
journeyed out to a park to catch. Two siblings journeyed out to a park to catch Pokemon and found the strange couple wearing pig masks and matching shirts that read King and Queen. Fortunately, neither sibling was injured by the laser when it was fired at one of the siblings' faces, although people reported seeing the couple at another time having sex by a water wheel.
But how do they know it's the same couple that they have the pig
They're wearing the pig masks and the clothes, yeah.
Oh my god.
These people are
these people
apparently
are
awesome.
Oh, the Swedes.
No, these people are like I look up to these guys.
Apparently, they caused a pretty major traffic jam when they started having sex by the water wheel because everyone was stopping to try to figure out what was going on.
Well, these people are living their lives to the fullest. I can only hope to just be as free as they are.
I'm scared.
That is...
My hat's off to you, King and Queen Pig.
I don't even know. Like I woke up this morning, like fully pulling the veil back. I woke up this morning and thought I was still dreaming when I read that. I'm like, wait, what?
I just don't... The laser part is the thing that I don't understand.
Apparently, they got one of those super high-power... green laser lights that can damage your retinas and shit.
Oh, you can't close your eyes against that.
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, no.
I didn't know that.
Those are dangerous, man.
How the fuck would they get... How would you get a hold of one of those?
I don't know.
It's in the store next to the pig mask.
This is
the same place you get your sweet pig mask.
Yeah. Pig mask and laser pointers.
This story has so many layers. I feel like we could spend an entire episode on this alone.
If you fire a laser at someone, I don't think of laser pointer.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's like a pew pew laser gun. Like how do you
Star
fire
Trek phaser?
Yeah. I like even if it's one of those green high-powered lasers, like using the word fire has a very specific connotation to it.
I'll say this: I read the article and then I Googled it and read 3 more articles reporting on it, and not a one of them mentioned that they had like the Moonraker laser from Bond.
Okay, all right.
They all said it was a little laser pointer thing.
That is
I don't know.
strange.
It was very weird.
To be fair, that laser was really terrible in Bond. If you knew if you rolled with that.
It was super good if you were on the one-hit kill mode, though, because it had infinite ammo.
No. In that case, just roll with a club and just spray and pray.
It's true.
Well, they did hit somebody, so they're not stormtroopers.
Fair. So yeah,
that could have. Honestly, for as strange as that story is, that could have turned out far stranger and darker. Just saying.
If it had actually like blinded one of the 2 people, I'd be like, whoa. I don't know. That was weird. It sounds like the beginning of like one of those Hostel movies or something.
Right?
A class action lawsuit against Pokemon Go is now underway, claiming that the game is affecting quality of life for many people across the country.
Thank God.
A St. Clair Shores couple is part of the lawsuit, claiming that the park across the street from their house, which has many Pokestops and a gym in it, attracts people to the area at all hours of the day. Specifically, they claim that people hang out on their lawns, trample landscaping, and look into their vehicles. They're, of course, not alone, as similar complaints and suits have popped up all across the country.
Well,
but you can't sue Pokemon Go for that. It's not Pokemon Go that's doing.
Well, they're suing Niantic, Nintendo, and.
Shouldn't they just sue the people if there's any damages? Like sue the actual people.
Yeah.
No, because it's Pokemon Go.
The game's not making them do it.
Which is provoking them into doing these awful things.
Right.
In order to look for
like how Pokemon Go makes you walk into the street.
Right. Yeah.
Into dangerous areas.
Exactly. Or
rob people.
Or you get raped by Pokemon, right? Like, that's a thing.
Was another weird story.
That's a thing that happened.
There was a Bulbasaur on my bed when I was at Otakon. It was legit. It was terrifying. I was scared. I was scared for the tentacle rape.
Howdy.
I have a picture.
Okay.
Oh, of the tentacle rape?
On my bed, attacking me with its tentacles. It's fine.
You know what? I don't know about sending out Chris's Quiet cosplay, but if we send out that picture...
What?
Oh my God!
I bet I'd get more.
Why didn't we report? Did we report on that article?
I think we may have talked about it last week, but I can't remember.
I feel like I ended up. I remember putting that on there.
I feel like it was discussed, but yeah, I can't remember. Chris, do you remember? Did we talk about that last week? I want to say that we did.
Yes, we did.
I want to say we did. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and we've been hearing a lot about these either complaints or lawsuits or people trying to contact Niantic and say, take Pokemon out of my neighborhood, but I feel like these people have a fundamental, like, they don't have a fundamental understanding of the way that the system works, and I don't, like, it feels like none of the data points are being generated by Niantic, like none of the Pokemon spawns are being placed specifically. It's all correlating to the ingress data that is collected on cell phone usage. So if there's cell phone usage in the area that you're in, there's going to be Pokemon that spawn there. I don't think that, I mean, it seems like a waste of Niantic's time unless a court orders them to or compels them to have them go and get, scrub those data points from every place that's butthurt about some flowers being trampled. And those
are pretty impressive flowers, though.
But and even more,
there are yellow ones and red ones.
Even more than that, I think it just proves how tone deaf a lot of these places are to engaging with a younger audience, because there's a way to ask people to respect what is around them without being a dick and going, shut it down, we don't want it here, we want it banned. Those places that put up there are I've seen cafes and bars or restaurants, no Pokemon here, this is a Pokemon free zone. You understand that you're shooting your business in the foot. And what's hilarious is that when you look at it, when you really examine what's going on, the increased foot traffic to some of these places means that the people who work there actually have to do work instead of sitting behind a counter and not engaging with people. It means that, they're actually having to fill orders and get people's drinks to them on time and shit like that. And
the goddamn game was irritating to me. I thought it was really stupid.
And I mean, yeah, sure, you can probably, if that's the way you feel about it, that's fine. But I feel like more often than that, you have these lazy servers or these lazy businesses that have been surviving in their location with the bare minimum of foot traffic, like a dozen people coming to their business every day. And now, because they're a Pokestop, they're getting 50, 60 people a day. And they just can't handle, they can't handle the workload. And instead of hiring people, they just want to be like, no, take your Pokemoning somewhere else. Because it's not, dude, very rarely do I go somewhere to go Pokemon hunting and then not spend money there.
Not patronize the area.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. When I go Pokemon hunting,
I just trample flowers.
Yeah, I step on the flowers, I throw garbage on the floor, and then I piss on the window. So I don't know what you guys are doing while you're Poke hunting.
Spend a lot of time in St. Clair Shores, do you?
Well, obviously I have my pig mask on.
Yeah. Yeah, Nyrus in the chat brings up a good point. The Holocaust Museum, Hiroshima Museum,
that makes sense.
Hiroshima Memorial, those things make sense.
Yeah, there's places where it's not appropriate to have your phone out and be playing games.
Yes,
I get it.
that makes total sense. Graveyards, that to me makes sense. Yep. Removing Pokestops and stuff from graveyard, that makes 100% of sense. These businesses or these parks that are like, we have to deal with people actually coming to our place of business. Fuck you. Just fuck you. Do your job, please. God.
They don't know what capitalism is.
Right? Like
you can make so much money.
They're missing out on an opportunity. I think that's the part that bothers me the most, is that they're willfully walking away from an opportunity.
So, speaking of a lawsuit, an Italian bishop, well known for being rather outspoken, has compared the game to Nazism and called it diabolical. He has spoken to lawyers and is attempting now to get the game banned in the entire region of his diocese.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Do it! I just want to say that I got this story was sent to me from my very confused mother.
Yes,
because my mom has sort of been kind of paying attention to the phenomena of Pokemon Go, and she's like, I don't understand why someone would think this. And it's funny because it echoes back to it happened in the first round of Pokemon games that had come out in the 90s, because it was also so popular. You had places like churches going, oh, well, it's secretly demonic, and they're encouraging kids to collect Satanist monsters, and God, okay, all right,
D&D is of the devil.
Called it.
And it was still it was the era of Jack Thompson, so it lent that whole attitude a little bit more credibility. But man, it was really a crazy time in the early 90s.
Mortal Kombat is ruining our children. They're going to go around pulling people's hearts out.
We had Senate hearings about this shit. Can you imagine, the government doing work at this point, actually sitting down and having a debate about things? Oh, that I think is a much more out there concept than churches thinking that Pokemon are some sort of evil phenomenon that are affecting our kids. What are you doing?
He's stabbing me because I'm making fun of Callie.
He's making fun of me in the chat.
We don't want another Mussolini around here, eh?
What does Mario have to do with anything?
He's Italian bishop.
Yeah.
It's me, the bishop.
We don't want this around here. Get us out of my diocese.
When the Pokemon came into my Smash Brothers, everything went to hell. Literally. It was diabolical.
So from the very first moment and inception of Smash Brothers, because
I was against it from the start.
Yeah, they were there from the very beginning. I feel like we should make Len do an entire episode in that voice. At least then you would be good and consistent with it.
Right.
At least by the episode, the end of the episode. And, keep calling yourself Pops Leo.
It's me, Pops Leo.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
One of the more exciting selling points of No Man's Sky was its unbelievable size. The game claimed that while players could meet, the odds of it happening would be incredibly small due to the size of the game. However, 2 players streaming the game managed to locate the same planet and met there at the same time on the first day of release, only to be unable to see each other. They took to Twitter to ask about the incident, wondering if it was a bug, and the creators of the game completely dodged the question. This has led to speculation that players are actually unable to see each other, and that rare, incredible moment of meeting another player doesn't actually exist.
Well, that was dumb.
But the reason that this is such a big deal is because the creator of No Man's Sky went on so many notable TV programs,
Colbert,
and had stated that this would be something, very unlikely, bordering on the improbable, that it would be possible. And of course, 2 players would find each other on the first day because
day one.
this is 2016 and everything about every game has to be broken down into its most mechanical, fine working point ever. But the point is, though, that this does seem to be a lie that they told, and a lot of people are really upset about it.
That article was first reported about like 10 days ago, and I spent hours last night and today trying to find an update on if they've ever responded for it. No, they've apparently just gone mum on the issue.
That's lame.
It is lame.
It really is.
And this is like one of those, I can't pre-order games anymore. I don't like pre-ordering things anymore.
Because you don't know what you're going to get.
You don't.
You have no idea. And you know, in some cases you're on the hook for $60. Fuck that, man. That sucks. I hate
Steam lists the game as single player, by the way.
Well, you know, I first read about this story, I was really upset about it, so I went and bought the game and then immediately asked for a refund just so I could voice my concern for it.
Did you really?
I should have.
Because I ask that only because it really does seem like something you would do.
Yeah.
It just proved my point.
Overall, I don't see many people saying positive things about No Man's Sky despite the hype for it. Like,
I mean, it's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, I have it. It's. I think it's fun. But
is it worth $60?
No.
Would you describe it as Space Spore?
Well,
yes.
Okay. Well, what I've heard,
it's a new version of Spore.
Space Spore mixed with a resource management sim.
Yeah, exactly.
I can pass on that. I can live my entire life without playing that.
I mean, he was not wrong by saying it was almost virtually impossible for people to meet up. I mean,
it is huge.
Yeah,
no one's taking away from that.
18 quintillion planets,
and no one is taking away from that. But I mean, there does seem to be a lot of repeated assets between planets.
Yes.
So you know, like I know that's been a real big sticking point for a lot of people. But I think I mean, like honestly, the direct lie saying that you would be able to meet another player even if it was improbable, but that it was possible. I think that is.
Especially because like he builds up like the only way you'll ever know what your character looks like is if you meet up with someone.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Like that sucks.
That's
true.
So
hard. Like,
yes.
Because there's no way to find out what you look like otherwise.
There's no way. Yeah. There's no mirrors. There's no. You can't create
mirrors. Not exist in this game.
No character creation, and that's right. I forgot about that. That's one of the things that he said is that the only way to see what your character looks like is to meet somebody else in the game.
Nihilist
we're pretty butthurt about it.
Nihilist in the chat says Sean Murray is the indie Peter Molyneux.
Oh, ouch!
And it might be true.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, they've had some problems with this game though.
Well, and the fact that they're not really even attempting to do damage control.
Yeah, they're just dodging the question. That's so annoying.
Yeah, it is really irritating.
They're probably dodging. I mean, I know they've been having a lot of server issues. Period.
Right.
So I think that's probably one of the reasons why they might be dodging it. Just probably maybe to fix that first.
Well, and I mean, you know, and in previous episodes we had given some pretty, critical responses to the way that Niantic had dealt with, you know, the nearby tracker and stuff like that. You know, are we just? Do we not need to? Do you not need to put out fires or do damage control as a game company anymore? Can you just?
No.
Maybe their person is give.
Maybe maybe they're.
People didn't do damage control in 1980 or 1990.
Yeah, they actually did. They sure did. It was called E.T. the Game, and they dug a hole and threw cartridges into
That's
it.
not damage control. That's just burying the hatchet.
That's burying their head in the sand, very literally. It never happened. It never came out. No.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
La 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 la. I don't know what you're talking about. La 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 la. Okay. Is that it? You just got.
Well, close us out, man.
How do you?
Robbie did this last time.
God damn.
So for more information on these and other stories, visit our blog at finalencountercast.com. I thought you meant on the. I think meant on that.
Cool, man.
Sorry.
On the actual goddamn outline, and you're just like.
My bad.
Really need that cricket.
Okay.
Yes, idiot.
God damn it.
You guys suck.
By the way, our
Yowie, anal intercourse, Maui, Zowie.
Thank you.
Everything.
Great.
Whoa.
Awesome. Thank you. By the way, our news segment brought to you by Alamo City Comic-Con. Coming up October 28th through the 30th at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. Couple of recent guest announcements include John Barrowman, who is currently Malcolm Merlin on Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. Also, Captain Jack Harkness from Torchwood and Doctor Who. He's going to be out there joining some of the other Doctor Who castmates, including Karen Gillan, Billy Piper, and the one and only David Tennant. Jason Mewes from who is Jay from Jay and Silent Bob from the View Askewniverse, going to be out there, as well as Brian O'Halloran, Dante, who played Dante from Clerks, and Jeremy London, who played TS from Mallrats, also was in Party of Five and Seventh Heaven. They're all going to be out there as a part of Alamo City Comic-Con. We are as well. We'd like to invite you to join us. We've got some pretty exciting announcements coming up from Alamo City Comic-Con this year. So please, if you're in the area, make sure you drop by October 28th through the 30th, Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. All right, let's talk first of all about Pokemon Go. We've already talked a little bit about it, but
we haven't talked about it yet, so I feel like it's long overdue.
I just got him a Machop for the first time in my apartment.
Wow, there was a Machop up here earlier, and
I mean, I have some Machops, but like the spawns are definitely changing. This is confirmed by me now.
So
it's canon.
Oh, good.
Confirmed by me. Great.
Yeah.
I caught a Sandshrew and a Machop today in my apartment complex, and they've never spawned here before. Ever.
That's new for you?
Yes.
There's a Sandshrew up right now.
There is.
Same thing with the Bulbasaur I got yesterday. We've never had Bulbasaur here before either.
I'm not even bothering to catch it.
So they're okay. First of all, again, I'd like to welcome anyone joining us from the Safari Zone Go Twitter account. I am going to tell you I am Baoba. That is me, Baoba, Baoba, whatever. I don't care how Nika said it, whatever.
I'm pretty sure Baoba is how you would say it.
So it's been very bizarre and interesting because I mean I knew that there would be some attention paid to the Twitter account when I started it because just of the crazy stuff that would pop and just how jealous these guys would get when I would share it with them in the chat room.
Ugh.
But I did not expect this. Like I kind of halfway expected a Reddit thread at some point, but like having a couple of articles written about it is wow, that has been very surprising and hilarious. So real quick, if you're coming from the Twitter account or from one of the articles that was written about the Safari Zone, I want to clear a couple of things up. My name is not actually Baoba. It's not. That
did a lot of people think it was?
Yes. Oh. Some of the articles say a lucky trainer named Baoba, whatever. That they incorrectly ascribe my name. My name is Nate. For those that have watched this show before, no. But
you mean it's not a Nero either?
It's not a Nero either.
Is it the Nero?
It's not the Nero, although I can understand the mistake that you would make there. But no. So, first of all, that is not my name, and if you're wondering where that name comes from, it comes from the original games.
Yeah, dipstick!
That is the warden of the Safari Zone. In the games, you meet him.
Well, yeah, Dodoy.
You meet him again in silver and gold, too.
You give him back his teeth.
That's right. Wait, what? You do?
Yes.
Yeah, just did it in Pokemon Yellow. You have to go into the
you can't understand him.
That's why he talks like.
It's been, dude. It has been a long time since I've made.
Remember his name?
Your description on your Twitter is him talking without his teeth.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's we all learn things every day.
But everyone else is the idiot.
We're all triggered here.
I looked it up on Wikipedia.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I would assume that other people would have done the same thing, because, I mean...
Now you can understand me, and he gives you TM4, which is strength.
Oh, okay.
Whatever, you bitch!
There you go. There's the entire history. So, for those that didn't know, including myself...
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it has been really fascinating to watch a lot of the responses. It's funny, I hunt rare Pokemon anymore just to be able to take the screenshots. I don't even, what's funny is, and this will probably trigger a lot of people, I don't even try to catch a lot of the stuff that I take screenshots of. Because, it's a waste of it. It's a waste of balls.
And you've got to keep those balls in your mouth.
Well, no, but I mean, like, there's other stuff that I want to catch. So,
hey, check out this Rapidash that I'm not going to throw a Pokeball at. Haha.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But I kind of downplayed that aspect of it on the Twitter account.
Well, it's his penis, and he can do whatever he wants with it.
All right, so I don't know. What have you guys been experiencing? We've heard reports that Niantic has changed up some of the spawn frequencies in rural areas. Chris, you live in a pretty rural area. Have you noticed
everywhere?
Have you noticed anything? Any changes?
I think I have actually. I mean, I drive around.
You were pretty cynical about it at first.
I was because every day people pop up, hey, I think the spawn rates have changed for blah 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 because I found a Jigglypuff instead of a Weedle.
Super anecdotal, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I feel like it feels different. Instead of just finding Caterpie, Weedle, Rattata everywhere, it's actually like a little bit more of a variety.
Yeah.
It's still nothing super rare. It's like Oddish, Bellsprout, just like a whole bunch of like the common stuff. But now it's like more common, it's more variety.
Which, I mean, that seems to be across the board what the reports are, is that there have been a bit more of variety that's been inserted. And it's not necessarily more frequency, it's just more variety.
Yeah, like the spawns that normally spawn Nidoran spawned a Bulbasaur the other day. And like this one that just spawned Machop is usually like the Pidgeys and stuff.
I actually noticed a whole lot of Eevee. I probably caught. I
have too. Yeah.
You know, I used to catch a bunch of Eevee, and I don't see Eevee anymore.
Interesting.
Maybe they just swarmed elsewhere.
It's kind of I like the idea that Niantic would like sort of switch up all of the spawns after. I mean, it's been about 21 days, and people had predicted that spawns were going to be changing,
right?
And it seems like they did when people were predicting they would. So it might, we might be seeing a lot more of these changes, like if you're popping. I know you said like a Weeping Bell had popped for you earlier.
In my house, which never has anything. And if it had, like, maybe I'll see one Pokemon in the morning and one as I go to bed at night, and it's a Weedle.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Wow.
Like, absolutely nothing. And this morning I got a Weeping Bell.
Damn. Well, so it'll be interesting to see. I think that they could probably adjust some frequency rates out in rural areas as well.
Yeah.
So I have noticed some more, rares, like just driving around. That will just pop up.
Yeah, like I got a Rhydon and an Onyx in a shopping center that's never spawned either of those things before. Also.
One of the places that I've started checking out recently has been the GM Run Center in downtown Detroit.
Like where Youmacon is?
Yes. Which it has a bunch of stops. They're all lured, like pretty much all the time. When I was there yesterday, I mean, my haul sort of speaks for itself. So I got all of the starters, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. Got a Wartortle and Charmeleon. There was an Onyx that I had passed on.
Did you get an Ivysaur?
Did not get an Ivysaur.
Oh, well, get out of here. You suck.
A Lickitung, a 1000 CP Lickitung.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the songs like 100.
A couple of Pikachu. What else? The Aerodactyl. The Aerodactyl. Oh man, that one sort of made me go, all right, okay, this is legit. I'll actually come back here and spend some time. I think GM Run Center is a really, really good place. For catching. I haven't noticed much of a change up in spawns for me in the Safari Zone. Maybe a little less of the evolved, but even just today there was a Slowbro that
I've actually noticed earlier. A lot more Rattata and Pidgey in your Safari Zone.
Have you?
Yeah,
I haven't actually noticed that. That's been about standard to what I'm used to, because I do catch Weedles and Pidgeys. It's not like they don't exist, but it doesn't. I don't think that they're spawning with any more frequency. Remember, the things around here that would hit with a lot of frequency were Magnemite, Voltorb. That still spawns a lot.
Garbage.
We get a lot of Abra too. A lot. Still.
I haven't seen one.
Man,
there were two. earlier today?
I caught a Kadabra yesterday.
Did you?
Yep.
Where were you? What?
Just down the road.
Yeah.
Driving by some church.
Wow.
Yep. Out in the boonies. So.
What was it? Was it pretty decent CP?
Like 500. So probably not.
No, it's not. It's not.
But you know what that is? That's 28 candy right there.
That is true.
So I'm
that's very true. What is your dex at? What's your dex count at?
Oh gosh, it's not as high as everyone else's here, but let's see, 103.
103. That's pretty good. That's
I'm
pretty
at
good.
102, so you're one.
Oh yes!
Look
at Nika.
Look at that. And Nika's got a pretty good biome where she lives too. I'm kind of surprised.
I mean, if I go into DC, I find a lot more. But like around where I am, there's a shopping center that that gets good. But I don't just sit there at the shopping center all the time. So
why
I don't know. But now I'm seeing more stuff in my apartment complex. So I don't know.
Callie, how about you?
107 currently.
107. All right.
Wow.
Big catches this week. I mean, you had said your Kadabra was pretty clutch.
Let me check on.
Geez, I know this week's been a week of evolutions for me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I did hatch a Magmar. That was cool.
Oh, nice.
I caught a Magmar at Walmart once.
Really?
Yeah. There's a gym right by Walmart, and there was an Ivysaur and a Magmar just hanging out.
So I caught the last Omanite that I need for my Omastar. That puts me at 141. The only thing I'm missing is Porygon. Not seen a Porygon, not hatched a Porygon. So I got one more. That is crazy. But it speaks.
One more.
It speaks to the just how good the Safari Zone actually is.
Did you say what you needed?
Porygon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen any?
No. I've seen. I'm sorry. I've seen it in 2 places on nearby, but it's never actually come up for me to engage. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's very.
You're gonna lose your
really
mind when you actually see one pop up on your map.
Yeah. I mean, it's really gonna be exciting.
What are you gonna do with yourself when you get it?
Now, okay, so
you're gonna start caring about IVs and like building a big team, or
it's funny because I thought about that and I had expressed this on Limit Break Radio, but there's a point with games where the discussion becomes so mechanical that I check out. Like once you start talking about IVs, like I can stick with you through move sets, that's fine. But when you start talking about IVs, like stuff that you need additional tools or additional like mathing to be able to figure out, like DPS for specific Pokemon, I don't really give a shit. As long as I can take the local gym and troll the guys who live next door, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like I will have fun in this game. But I found that my active goal has now moved from completing the decks and it's gone back sort of more to my original goal to get a squadron of Kabutops. I want 10 Kabutops.
Oh, come on.
I want 10 Kabutops. So that will be the only defender that I lay down at every gym that I ever go to. I will be the Kabutops guy. And the thing is I know that I'm going to get there, maybe not through catches, but through trades. Fuck it. I am going to be ruthless with my trades. I know what I want, and I have shit that you want to get it. Period. It doesn't matter who you are. I have shit that you want that you don't have, and I have multiples of them and would gladly part with them. I'm going to end up with a squadron of Kabutops. The thing is once I get to that point, I sort of care about Gen 2, not really. I don't give a shit at all about Gen 3. So there's going to be a serious fall off after that point. I don't know if I'm even ever going to get to that point. Trading, I think, will help.
Because someone was asking me, since I don't know anything like past Gen, like I know up to Gen 3, but then Gen 4 and beyond is like whatever. But to me, if you think about it, because this is such a heavy exploration game, fighting Pokemon in the real world, it might kind of be kind of cool. Like, hey, I'm finding these Pokemon for the first time, like kind of how you open a Game Boy game for the first time and meet a whole bunch of new Pokemon.
Right.
But you're actually wandering the world and discovering Pokemon you've never even heard of before. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me like, "Oh, are you gonna go get the regionals?" Like, no. I mean, if I travel, I'll load up the app and I'll take advantage of it for sure. But I'm not gonna like book fucking flights to go catch a Farfetch'd.
I was reading a thread that somebody actually did that because they had a bunch of miles from business.
Yeah, so I saw that.
Used them and flew all over. And I was like, God damn.
I saw that. Nika, I have to ask you because you had a trip out to Japan, like just maybe a couple of weeks
week or two before Pokemon
Go. How salty are you that you missed out on Farfetch? I bet.
Oh my god.
I bet.
hurt, man.
Oh my god. I would.
She'd have had something that she could lord over you.
Yes.
She'd like, I have Farfetch.
Crazy thing though. Crazy thing. So I was going to go train the gym, like that is the closest proximity to where I live. Motherfucker had a Kangaskhan.
I saw that.
Oh my god.
Right, send that picture. Oh my god.
Yeah, I've never even seen one in a gym. I mean, that's crazy. I was like legitimately.
I call spoofer.
You think?
I call spoofer.
You think? No, that might be someone. It could have been someone who came, came and either visited from Australia.
No.
Because I would.
Can you hatch them though?
No.
Wait.
I mean, people said you could, but I've never seen any evidence of it.
Yeah, the actual math on that says that largely I mean, because
Reddit has like 10,000 people saying
Reddit had
no.
a sample size of over 10,000, and not one of them hatched and out of region. So,
I'm gonna say no.
But like, if I got an egg here in the States and then took it.
Tangela.
Oh, Tangela, sweet.
Tangela.
I get enough Tangelas here.
You get Tangelas? What?
You get Tangelas on a regular
I get Tangelas
basis?
at the shopping center, I do.
Where you can be like, fuck it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I'll
Good
click
idea.
on it, but if it's like, I don't know.
This is my first one I've ever seen.
Let me see how many Tangela candies I have. But I mean, I've seen enough of them that like I've caught at least 4.
I have seen 2. One dashed on me here, and then I had another one that spawned at lure out on Belle Isle, and that was the one that I actually caught.
Yeah, I think I have 11 Tangela candies. So I must have caught 4.
Okay, this is actually kind of a rare one for the Safari Zone. If I'm totally honest here.
Chris, I noticed that they're talking like really enthusiastically about Pokemon Go and everything. Do you think maybe they're just putting off the second half of this conversation today?
You know what? I think they are.
No,
you mean it's the second half of this conversation?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you might be onto something there,
that's a dirty accusation.
I feel like that's the smartest thing you've ever said.
Because he knows we can't go much longer than an hour and a half, so he knows if we get far enough.
He's waiting out the clock.
We'll just have to wait. Go to
I
next
am
week.
not. That is a lie.
Okay, do we have anything else on Pokemon Go? That's a no. Okay.
I evolved a Charizard.
Nobody cares.
I have a Charizard.
No, I care because I don't find Charmanders anywhere.
Really?
Like, I find Bulbasaurs and Squirtles everywhere. Charmanders, nowhere.
They do pop around here. I mean, that's the thing is that, I mean, my 141 has mostly been caught around here. It's mostly been caught in the Safari Zone.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I've caught, I have 85 Bulbasaur candies. I have 27 Charmander candies. And
hey guys, how many Metal Gear Survive candies do you have?
How many of those have been hatched, Nika? The Charmanders.
I hatched one Charmander and they gave me 8 candies. So take off 27 minus 8, 19. So I mean, and I found like 2 Charmanders around here. The rest are
okay. All right.
And I've only found 2 Pikachus ever.
Hey guys, let's report on some gaming news and not Pokemon Go news. This is Final Encounter Cast, not Final Pokemon Go Cast. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking. I don't think we actually have any other news. Do we want to read emails? I think we should read emails. Do we have any calls?
Gamescom 2016. Konami announces Metal Gear Survive. You guys are the Metal Gear fanatics. How are you guys not excited about this? Can we bring up the trailer? Let's bring up the trailer.
Oh, I'm super into this.
Do we have to?
We've got to see this trailer.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm super excited.
It looks really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be great.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I already did.
All right.
You got it up?
Yeah. All right. So we've got the trailer here.
Peggy 18.
Peggy 18.
Yeah. This was all a part of a totally, reasonably good game.
This looks like a really good game.
No, this part does not.
Any part does not.
Well, the part that was directly excerpted from Ground Zeroes is fine.
We've got a snake. We got some snakes flying around, I think.
Yeah, where's that guy going?
Uh-oh, what's going on?
We're getting sucked into a wormhole.
Oh no, a portal. What? No. Oh man.
I can't just close my eyes.
No, crustal zombies. This gets a pipe.
This makes me. Ugh.
Gotta see this.
Wait, they gotta get back home.
Yeah,
Okay.
how are they gonna get home? Look at there's 4 people.
It's almost like they're left for dead.
Oh my gosh. We have to fight.
That was sweet. Look at that.
Actually, that was
Dude's head
pretty
explode.
Oh my gosh, look at that awesome bow and arrow.
Right?
That was so cool.
The bow and arrow isn't bad. I wouldn't mind using that in a Metal Gear game.
How awesome would it be if you like could play with your other friends and Metal Gear together? Have you done that before in a Metal Gear game?
Yes, it's called Peace Walker.
Coming 2017.
So do we?
What do you think about it? You're speechless. I know.
Can we just re-air the Konami call that we had made? Is that possible?
No, don't flash back!
I feel like
Nailed it!
I need to call Luke because I need an explanation on this.
Man,
what happened here?
He got promoted, right?
He had to have.
I think he probably was the lead writer, actually.
He's making all of the marketing decisions.
Can we see the credits? He might be the lead writer on that. I don't know, because like I'm at a point with Metal Gear where it's like it's so big, I don't really know where I could jump into the series, but this looks very accessible.
Get out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm going to start playing Metal Gear now. Especially if I can play with Robbie. You want to play with Callie?
We can play together.
Right.
Then we'll find out if all
Nate,
the other ones are like it.
Nate, do you want to play? You want to be our 4th? It's cool.
You almost did it.
Oh my god, this is going to be amazing!
Do you see where my hand is moving? Do you see?
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Do we want to? I mean, I'll turn you off for the rest of the show.
Come on.
There you go.
Oh, you really stepped in it, Mike.
The thing that bothers me even more is
no,
the
not our
fact
drop.
You want me? I'll kill the drops too.
I assume you've already killed the drop, so.
is that the fact that they didn't just make it like an alternate what if, like, oh hey, what if the bomb turned everyone into zombies instead of killing them? It's no, the bomb actually opens a portal to another world, and it sucks.
Right, this is canon.
Yeah,
this is the canon ending.
The fact
the way to make it canon is by opening a portal rather than just saying what if they turn into zombies.
The fact that they have tacked on the scene from Ground Zeroes on the front of it means that they have added it to the canon. It is.
And the thing is when they said alternate universe, I honestly thought it was going to be legitimately like what if, like an alternate, like not canon alternate of hey, instead of the bomb killing everyone, guess what, guys? They really turn into zombies, and you can treat it as not canon.
Like I get that Kojima's great, but I'm glad that they have the bravery to take it in another direction.
It's now because this wormhole exists, they're trying to make it canon, and that bothers me.
Okay. Well,
yeah. No, you're not getting a microphone back.
Okay, but what if this was Kojima's vision?
It wasn't.
And they're just furthering his vision because
it absolutely wasn't.
Nobody.
Okay, I'm gonna play
works.
devil's advocate here for a moment. Okay, one of my friends is also super into Metal Gear. Pointed out that if Kojima had not left Konami, he would actually expect something like this, simply because with Kojima's recent obsession with Walking Dead and the actors from that, and the fact that he's super into zombies himself, that if Kojima had produced this, would the backlash be as bad? Because he says he would honestly, if Kojima was still a part of it, you know how he says he doesn't want more Metal Gear, he actually would expect this from Kojima.
I don't know. I mean, Kojima presents a certain level of insane, but this seems less insane than it does like an attempt to pivot the series to what they already know they can produce, right? Like Konami
Konami knows that it can produce this type of game, and let's be honest, like, this type of game is far easier to produce than something that kind of thinks a little bit outside the box like Metal Gear has in the past, right? So, given that, like, there's a million games who operate exactly like this, team-based zombie survival, right? Like, that's a very, very tried and
Zombies
true.
in Spaceland.
What it feels like to me is they had the assets from the Fox engine, and the Fox engine is so malleable because Konami got to keep all of the work associated with the Fox engine, and with the Fox engine being so malleable that they were able to take the pre-built assets that Kojima had built for the Fox engine, and were just able. What they basically took, another a whole nother game and just pasted this on top of it, called it Metal Gear, and said, "Hey, this is the same game series, right? Yeah, we totally got this." Like, it seems less like a creatively driven decision, which it would have been had Kojima been at the helm, and much more of a craven cash grab to say, "Hey, like, we still know what we're doing here. Like, we still want to be able to sell as many units as Metal Gear Solid 5." And it's telling that this is the only franchise that they seem to want to continue. None of the Silent Hill games are being continued. None of the Castlevania games are being continued. Why is it Metal Gear Solid? Why is it Metal Gear Survive? Because they just made a boatload of money on Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's almost like if Square-Enix took the Final Fantasy series and started making it less and less like an RPG game. Wait a minute. They're doing that.
Somebody tried to bring that out to me as a way to counteract how Final Fantasy games can still be good, so Metal Gear Survive can still be good. There is a very, very big difference between Final Fantasy trying something new, having the same core elements of an RPG, having the core elements of Final Fantasy, and taking Metal Gear and changing it into a completely different genre of game.
It's still an FPS.
There's a very big difference.
You still shoot people.
Okay.
I want to give you back a mic, but you need to be able to use it responsibly. Can you do that? Can I trust you with that, Chris?
I always speak responsibly.
No, you don't. No. That is a lie.
Responsibility and Chris just go hand in hand.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to try giving you back a microphone.
Welcome back. I was talking to myself.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It seems like they're just jumping on the bandwagon of all the zombie shit.
It does.
So what I don't understand is, like, this is not a Metal Gear game. They should have given it its own IP and its own name and called it.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
It's a new game. They should name it as such. But instead, they're like, nope. I'm going to put Snake in it for 5 seconds and make money.
Well, but like, if they don't call it Metal Gear, like, are they still okay to use the Fox engine and stuff? Like, because I think people will just be like, wait a minute, this is just the Fox engine.
That's what I think. I think that at this point, I think Konami is so creatively bankrupt that they can't even begin to, like, generate new assets for a new IP. They have all of these assets and the Fox engine left over from Kojima's time there, and they're like, well, we could make games out of this, but then it has to be a Metal Gear Solid game. It's stupid. It is really, really stupid. And again, I feel like there is a creatively bankrupt part of this where they are. I don't know what it is. Like, this is the strangest decision in gaming, the gaming industry that I can name in a long time.
I'm just really wondering, though, that if Kojima had produced this, would we be as upset? Would you be as upset if Kojima made this? Asking you straight up. If Kojima made this and said, I like zombies, guys, because Walking Dead is cool, have it in your Metal Gear, what would you say?
I think he'd be okay with it. more okay with it anyway.
Yeah, I'd be more. I would at least give it the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, it would probably, I feel like it is more likely to have some of the core elements of a Metal Gear if he was producing it. I mean, Konami all of a sudden then jumps back and says, oh, the trailer doesn't show it, guys, but there will be stealthy
Look,
moments.
I for as much of a Metal Gear fan as I am, it's not like there aren't games in the series that I didn't like. I was not a fan of Rising. And I was not a fan of Rising.
Oh, the game was good.
It's the one that I have replayed the least amount of times. I've only ever played through it once, and it didn't do a whole lot for me, right? Like it was
it was different.
It was very different, and it's not what I wanted from the Metal Gear franchise, and that's fine.
But the thing is that was also, I mean, that's fair. That's a different genre. It was action, hack and slash, whatever. Had some stealth elements, but not much. But it still had a lot of core elements, like the grand bosses, the epic music, like the characters, the story.
But it was its own thing, yeah.
But are we going to say that Metal Gear Survive couldn't be that? Revengeance was very different, yet it's still widely accepted as part of the canon Metal Gear.
You're right.
So what makes this different?
The fact that Kojima's name is not on it, I think that's going to be the primary sticking point.
Okay,
what's the one with Senator Armstrong? Because that's the best one.
That's Rising.
Oh, that's the best one. I love it.
Okay, so what would your ideal Metal Gear trailer be then? Because I feel like it feels like no matter what Konami put out, because the Kojima's name isn't on it, according to Nate.
One thing that every single person would buy right now if Konami decided to do this instead is just remake fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 in the box. Instant money from every Metal Gear fan.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Oh, now we're back to remakes.
Well, no. If you don't,
Metal Gear Solid 3 is so great and so widely renowned as the best Metal Gear. Every single Metal Gear fan loves Metal Gear Solid 3. All they have to do is remake that in Fox Engine. They would print money and they would have no complaints
from. Say a fucking
anyone.
word. Say a word. Say it. Say something. Say something.
Something.
Bye.
Told me to say something.
I have a question.
I'll throw you out of the room. Look, because there's a very real fucking point here. Go ahead.
How long do these games usually? How long does it take to make these games usually?
Long time.
Okay, so it wasn't too long ago that it was announced that Kojima was leaving, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they might have wanted him to go down this road and he didn't want to, and that is maybe one of the causes of the ugly breakup?
No, because
Kojima does like zombies, so I don't know. I mean, but then again, that might be where the skulls come from, is him integrating zombie-like behaviors into the game.
Most reports from of the Konami Kojima split attribute that to the amount of money that he had spent on Metal Gear Solid 5's development, and a lot of
copyrights for songs he never even ended up using in the game.
Yes, exactly. So it did, and it drove the cost up a lot, and that was reportedly what had strained, that had created tensions between the two parties. But and thanks, Chris. You made me lose my point. I had a real good point to add, and
what was it?
I don't remember, because you were sitting there trying to be a smartass, and then I had to try to do an end run around you.
I had a great point.
No, you didn't. You had a waste. No, you had a waste of time. Is what you had.
It was a perfect point.
It was a waste of time. I do remember my point. Here, Nika had brought up, remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, really remaking any of the games in the earlier portion of the franchise, because that would have done a couple of things, okay? Konami could have come out and done some real meaningful damage control there and been like, look, we understand that we lost the spiritual heart of this series, but we want to try to recapture that, and we want to try to get a good team on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with what we've already been given through the series and do... I mean, because Nika's right. When you see the screens and you see some of the video from the Fox Engine rendered Metal Gear Solid 3 scenes, they're incredible.
And they use it for pachinko instead?
Yes.
I mean, I want to play the pachinko simply because they use the scene with the boss. Like, that makes me want to play the pachinko. And if I want to play fucking pachinko because they made Metal Gear and Fox Engine, imagine how much money I would throw at them to fucking buy the actual game. And they are stupid for not taking advantage of this, and I'm so freaking angry.
And it's different. It's different from the remaster. The remaster, it was literally a texture, it got a texture bump and a resolution bump and all of those things. But redoing the whole thing in the Fox engine would be a great exercise for whatever team you decided that was going to take on the Metal Gear Solid mantle to make sure that they could do it right. That would be something that would have actually done something with the Metal Gear Solid fan base and engaged the Metal Gear Solid fan base. And a lot of people would have seen it and gone, and blown it off. But if they had done a good enough job with it, and when it came out, it wasn't garbage, I think that they would have made a lot of ground there. Instead, what they've done with Survive is they've made it the most generic thing I've ever seen. And the one thing that is you never have ever heard anyone use to describe Metal Gear in its entire existence has been the word generic. That bothers me. That's
very good point.
That to me shows exactly how little respect for the franchise, respect for their audience, and respect for creativity Konami has as a company anymore. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because they used to put out amazing stuff. And I don't know who has been responsible for most of these decisions, but they have been terrible, terrible, terrible mismanagement decisions that have happened for the last 10 years at that company.
Luke, what are you doing with your life?
Seriously. I can't. It's this trailer is so disappointing. So disappointing.
Well, it is just a trailer, though.
But it's again though.
But it's a trailer that makes it look so generic. Even so many people I know are like, I've never played Metal Gear, but I do know that it's not supposed to look like Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and everyone's like, well, wait, this looks like Resident Evil. Did I just watch Resident Evil trailer? No, you didn't.
It does. It looks a lot like Resident Evil. It looks a lot like the Last of Us. I mean,
The Last of Us was even more than just the survival, just horde shooter. Though.
You know what? Honestly, you want to know what I think? I think that those zombies were probably leftover assets from PT. And what this feels like is a ham-fisted attempt to take all of the assets that were made for the Fox engine and compile it into something usable. And it's a mess. You see it, and it's a fucking mess. But that would make sense, though. Well, we spent this much money. That's totally a decision that a corporation would make. We've already invested X million dollars in Fox Engine, and it didn't end up panning out because Kojima, it turns out, has artistic integrity. And so now we've got to figure out what to do with it. And, to me, this seems like the extent of the Konami dev team's talent. This is the most that they could do.
Ugh.
Which is sad.
Oh, no.
I mean, because
my thing is that you're right that they're not rebooting any other franchises, and I feel like if this is how they take Metal Gear, none of these other franchises have a chance.
Yeah.
They're gone, they're dead, and if they ever bring them back, we're gonna get something like this.
Yeah.
It makes me very sad for Suikoden, and it's never happening, and my soul has been crushed.
I mean, it is pretty definitive that we're not going to see anything close to
anything good from Konami ever again.
Yeah. It really, I mean, this really does seem, I mean, we knew
naysayers.
It's weird hearing Nika say stuff like that.
I'm so disappointed that the only semi-decent, and I say semi-decent very liberally here, game company right now is Square-Enix. I feel like all the other companies that we've loved, I mean, CD Projekt Red, but they're not American.
Bethesda.
I feel like every other
Bethesda,
game company, Bethesda's pretty good too.
Yeah,
okay, I'll give you that.
I still like Blizzard.
Who said EA? Who said EA? No, who said EA? Who said it? Who said it?
Who was it?
God damn it! Do I really need to throw you out of the fucking room? Oh my god! How could you even say something that irresponsible?
I feel like with EA, BioWare, Ubisoft, like they're just Konami, they're all just falling down the drain.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of scaring me for the future of gaming at this point.
Well, because it doesn't seem like everyone said, well, don't worry, indie developers will be able to pick up the scraps and be able to pull the weight for an audience that feels like they're not being targeted by current game companies, and I don't think that's the case.
Well, I think this is how you would see an indie developer become the next generation's large-scale developer. For that to happen, some of the old developers have to go by the wayside. Like 3D Realms had to disappear before someone else could step in and take their place.
You're right.
Who's the developer making Fractured Butthole?
Ubisoft?
I actually don't know who they are.
Yeah, I think it is
good.
Ubisoft.
What?
They're good.
No, they're not.
No. When they stopped making Prince of Persia to chug out a
Assassin's
Creed every year, no.
Yeah, so they're making a
Go
game
play Assassin's Creed Unity and then come back and tell me how awesome Ubisoft is.
Ubisoft is making an Assassin's Creed game every year. That's a lot of gameplay
Not
right
anymore.
there. That is so many games.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah,
Such game.
God.
But they're going to make a boatload of money off of
Much
South
Creed.
Park.
Oh my God, yeah, they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are. And now I think we're done with the Metal Gear.
Do you want to cleanse a palate with an email?
No, I actually want to pivot now to FF15. We talked right at the beginning about the release date changes, getting pushed back and delayed. A lot
How
of
do
people.
you feel about that, though? I actually seen a lot of people.
I gotta go. I can't listen to Nika talk my thing.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah. We've got a thing going where
we just don't want Callie around.
I'm curious if he is worried about the release date. That's what I was about to ask. I wasn't going to spoil anything.
That game was a glitch.
But he's leaving. Okay. Well, I was going to ask that. Surprisingly, through my Facebook feed, I have not seen anyone get upset about the delay. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I'd rather not have a day one download. I'd rather have the game perfect, and I'll wait 2 more months for it." I have not seen anyone upset.
What's wrong with a day one download?
Well, they were saying
it's going to
that
happen no matter what.
This is the reason they delayed it, is that you're going to have the game, you're going to install it, then you're going to have a patch the size of the game to download, and that prevents you from starting it on time and blah blah blah. They didn't want to deal with that.
Well,
so they're
going to have that no matter what happens. Yeah. Every game has day one download.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I don't know. That was their excuse for the delay.
Look, I first of all, I think that's a kind of silly reason for the delay. And second of all, I kind of am one of those that look. I'm not bothered by the delay because I really want this game right now. I'm bothered by the delay because it seems indicative that this game may be more troubled than we think it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, yeah, they can say that it's to, avoid a day one patch. We know that that's still going to happen. But I really do think that they're taking the time to put some final tweaks and refinements on it. I mean, I have a pet theory that Square-Enix may have diverted resources from other games to get it done. We all are big players of Final Fantasy XIV. We've seen a distinct drop-off in both content and communication from the dev team staff, and I have to wonder if they've taken a hit to be able to divert personnel over to Final Fantasy XV's roster. If that's the case, it would explain some of the problems that FF14 has been going through. But I really do think that this is indicative of a messy game.
Oh, yeah, because actually what Zara just said
10 years.
What Zara's Hylian just said in the chat is the one thing that's bothering me, is that the FF15 Uncovered event was specifically to make a big freaking deal out of its release date.
Yes, exactly.
And then they delay it. Like, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going to make such a big deal out of it and then delay it anyway? Like,
right.
Why? I don't know. Like, that it is sitting a little bit
been mired with problems.
Right now.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, what other game can you name, like AAA studio, like big studio title, that has necessitated not one but 2 demos? That speaks speaks volumes for the overall quality of the game. I mean, if you're not confident enough to say, look, this is the system that we've chose for it, and you need to play test it with a public environment, dude, that's troubling. That, to me, that's troubling.
The demos were different things. One demo was like the battle system and the actual gameplay, and the other demo was about like the weather effects and the graphics and stuff.
But they were different. They were like marginally different battle systems between the two versions of the demo. So they did take a lot. I mean, you know, we knew that they took a lot of feedback about FF15's battle system from that first demo. But it necessitated two of them. And yeah, you can hide it behind, oh, well, we're showing off the rain effects. But you can't hide the fact that the feedback that you took from that first demo changed what you were doing for that second demo.
Betas.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they should change the game to be a turn-based system instead. before it comes out.
Get out.
If they would do that and push it back till December, I'd be happy with that.
Oh my god.
No. I don't know what to think. It's taken 10 years. What's another couple of what could you possibly be doing in this amount of time? What could be that important? To me, I don't think packaging,
the avoidance of a day one patch.
Packaging and patching, that to me, like, what that says is that the amount of changes that we're making, we're going to have to upload a whole new kernel for this game. You know what I mean? Like, if you're patching a file, you know, your files that you're patching are that big, unless you're downloading additional textures and shit, you're talking about the underpinnings of which the game is running. What else would necessitate a patch that big?
Month, they're not going to have all of that ready, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it's done.
No.
I don't think it's done.
Not be done
I don't think it's done. It's 10. I don't know. I mean, it done, but I think it's probably like
they devoted too much of their resources to Kingsglaive and they ignored the actual game. Like they did all of that in secret.
The anime.
So, by the way, Nika was lucky enough to go to one of the 26 theaters that's showing Kingsglaive.
Lucky enough. Quotation marks.
Nika, what did you think of the film?
I loved it, actually. I've seen, what bothers me is that critics bother me. Okay, they go into it like the biggest thing I've been seeing from critics is, if you're not a Final Fantasy fan, don't watch this. It's not for you. If you're not going to play Final Fantasy 15, don't watch this. It's not for you.
I don't want those Jedi.
But guess what? This movie, you know, hence the limited release and limited theaters for the limited audience that's going to be interested in this. The movie has always been billed as a companion to FF15.
Yeah, absolutely,
even though
yes.
It can stand alone, the story on its own, it's not meant to, right? The world, even they did minimal world building in this movie, which bothered a lot of people. They said it was a little confusing because I didn't understand the world. It was all just kind of thrown at me in some narration at the beginning, and I didn't really get who the characters were. I'm like, okay, but you get who the characters are enough to understand that this movie is what is going on inside the kingdom while you're road tripping with Noctis. Noctis is not seeing any of this political usurping that's going on inside the kingdom, and this movie is there to fill in the gaps for you.
So
movie is being released in the collector's edition with the game and has always been intended to be viewed alongside the game. The people who got to see it early, it's like a special treat if you decide to see it early. It's supposed to go with the game. And any of those critics that are like, if you're not going to play the game, don't watch the movie. Well, fucking duh! Why would you go watch the movie if you either aren't planning on playing the game or don't like Final Fantasy? This movie is specifically made for those people. Specifically.
Do you feel like you were like there was context that you were missing, even being a fan, even sort of being right? Because you had watched the anime too, right?
And I think the first episode of the anime actually says all that you really need to know. So I'm not going to spoil anything here, but in the first episode, it really just says, hey, Noctis and them are going, I don't even know how much I should say, are going to the specific point for a specific purpose. And you find out what it is in the anime and in the movie. And then you know that the world has a bunch of kingdoms. There's an empire that's trying to take control of the entire world, but currently Noctis's family still has control and reign over a small section of it that the empire wants.
I've never heard this plot line before.
Really? And okay.
This Final Fantasy 12.
I like how Nika. I like how Nika just sort of gives up. She's like, "Yeah, I know."
But regardless, so you know who the characters are. You know enough about the world that this is the section of the world that the Empire wants. And the movie starts out in the middle of warfare. Like, you have these elite set of people selected by the king, the Kingsglaive, who are fighting against the Empire. And there's a whole bunch of battle. The visuals are beautiful. I mean, one of the most beautiful things you will ever see for a very long time. It's magnificent. It's stunning, gorgeous. And I understand, like, some people said, like, the first 20 minutes were like, I don't know, like a little bit jump around from scene to scene to scene, but you can kind of tell that they're cutting things out to not spoil the game. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't want the whole game spoiled right now. Like, this is supposed to be, 1, a companion to the game, 2, hype for the game. If you're trying to watch this movie to be spoiled on the entire game, that would be stupid.
Well,
and I think it spoiled a little bit of the game already.
How much did this fucking movie cost? Because you're really not selling me on watching this movie at all, Nika.
Really?
You're really not. Because like, if I have to play the game to get key plot points,
play the game to keep pop. Okay, I watched the movie and I was not confused about a single second of it.
Well, I mean, we had.
I don't know, like, maybe you just didn't use your brain while you were watching the movie. Like,
well, we're talking about Chris here, so.
I haven't watched the movie yet.
A lot of people didn't like FF12 because it was a lot more about the politics, and that's what this movie is. It's a lot about the politics and the warfare and the people's reasoning behind what the choices that they're making.
Okay, I just want to point out, like, a really big criticism of Final Fantasy 12 was like all the major plot points was happening separated from the party, and in Final Fantasy 15 all the major plot points are separated from the party out of the actual game into a separate movie.
But we don't know that. We don't know that yet.
Oh, I guess we don't.
I think it'll depend on how compelling that whole road trip theme is.
I feel like this movie just like costs so much money, and I don't know if it's worth the millions of dollars.
I breaks their movie ticket price to go see it.
Honestly, my honest feeling about it is it's sort of this seems like a common refrain, but I think that these were some leftover assets from Versus 13, from when this game was a completely different game, and like if you have those assets left over, you're going to use them, and you're going to try to make something usable out of it.
Out of the Fox engine.
I don't think. It's
definitely some textures and in places like buildings that you would recognize from Versus 13 trailers. Like, they definitely did use some of that, but
I feel like
I don't know. I came out of there very hyped for the game. I mean, and I can already kind of like trying to figure out, okay, so this character is now going here. I wonder, like, okay, a big quest is going to be like, well, I'm Noctis. I'm going to have to meet up with this character and do this thing. I wonder how it's going to play out. And so I'm already starting to like turn in my head like how Noctis is going to play into all of this, and it's really exciting.
Okay, all right. I mean, just an interesting perspective on it. I mean, I'm like I said, I just don't know how hyped this makes me. And the thing is I have this worry in the back of my head that the story, that the narrative is actually going to be too big or too ambitious for
a game that takes 10 years to make. I hope not, because they took so long that this should not be so ambitious for 10 years to contain. I would hope.
My question is, like, they're putting all this time and effort and money into the anime, into the movie. Do you think Square-Enix expects to break even with Final Fantasy 15?
See, that's that, and
games have a hard enough time breaking even with the game alone, but you have two things.
People pre-ordered the collector's edition. I'm sure they already have.
It depends. It depends on how much of it there.
How much did this movie cost? Like millions of dollars, right?
I feel like it must have. I mean, it is. Beautiful.
How long is it?
It's a full-length movie. It's almost 2 hours.
What? 2 hours?
But it's like an hour and a half.
Wow.
It's a full-length film.
How does it compare compared to Spirits Within? Like in terms of like how the animation is.
Beautiful. Like the only thing that's off about Kingsglaive. The mouth animations in Kingsglaive are a little bit off sometimes. And I don't know if that has to do with rendering it from like Japanese voices to American, but there's a few times where like their mouth will twitch in a really weird way and you're like, that's not natural.
It's wonderful.
Is it
a noticeable jump up in quality from Advent Children?
From Advent Children, yes, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
What makes you say that? Is it the detailing, or because I feel like Advent Children was incredibly detailed, and I mean, it was, for all of the criticisms that I have of Advent Children, it was gorgeous.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's something. It's hard to explain, but there's a lot more action in Kingsglaive. A lot of flashy fights and giant monsters and crazy things going all over the place, sparks flying, and then you even get when they're inside the Kingdom Hall and there's all the council sitting around and just the detail in that. I mean, they look real, except for when their mouth twitches weird. Then it's okay, it's a little bit off. But other than their mouth movements, everything else about it looks like it's real.
Wow.
Okay, so my thing is Spirits Within bombed hard to the point where Square basically went bankrupt, and that is what rumored to spur the merger with Enix. And I'm wondering, how is just Final Fantasy 15 going to cover the cost of that whole movie?
Look,
and the 10 years of development.
We're going to buy the movie and download also.
Well, hang on. First of all, when you talk about Spirits Within, you're talking about a full theatrical release. They put that in as many movie theaters as they possibly could, and that takes money. You've also got the promotional budget as well. That takes money. On top of that, they were pushing graphics technology farther than even other movie studios had been able to do it, because up until that point, you had CGI used very sparingly. You had things like Jurassic Park. You had it used in conjunction with traditional special effects, and it was kind of a hybrid. It was so expensive to make at that point because the computers were so expensive. That's what drove a lot of the cost of that movie up. It wasn't the actual production. There was also the cost of I can't. They had Steve Buscemi and a couple of other.
Baldwin in that one.
But Kingsglaive had a lot of big names in it too.
Yes, Kingsglaive does too. But
I looked it up. It's an hour and 50 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's amazing.
I want to say I don't think that the production costs are the same for something like Spirits Within versus Kingsglaive, because I'm not sure. I don't think Kingsglaive pushes the boundaries of graphics technology. Just doesn't.
It probably doesn't, but it is definitely the most beautifully rendered CGI you will probably see in a theater for a long time, I would say.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Really, really beautiful. And also, to be fair too, I think that if Square-Enix had released Spirits Within without the Final Fantasy name, if they just called it Spirits Within, a Square-Enix sci-fi movie, I think it would have done fine. I actually thought the movie was good as a sci-fi alien movie.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Not as a Final Fantasy movie.
Spirits Within is not a terrible movie. It is a terrible Final Fantasy movie. It's not a terrible movie overall. I actually enjoy that movie quite a bit. So, Nika, thanks for that breakdown on Kingsglaive. Hopefully this game is not as much of a mess as we've predicted that it is.
It's all bad.
I mean, I'm just really interested now about how they're going to play Noctis into this, because he's going off somewhere to meet someone that you'll learn about, but he is so disconnected from what's happening in the Empire and what's happening in. I mean, he's being chased down, obviously, now as the Empire takes over. He's kind of I don't know, on the run. He is wanted. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm just trying to figure out if all of this big stuff is happening in the kingdom, people are dying and Empire's taking over, and Noctis is just chilling. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how he plays into the... I mean, I know how he plays into the overall, after a certain point.
Right.
But I feel because the movie runs alongside him. So I feel for the beginning part of the game, I can't see the story being, I don't know. It's an interesting narrative choice that they're going with this game.
All right. Okay. And we've got Callie back in the studio, so we got to...
Oh, actually, Callie, we're still talking about 15, so just leave for another 30 minutes.
Okay, can do. See you later.
So I think that's going to do it for our discussion here on Final Encountercast. Let's read an email. We haven't read an email here in a while. So why don't we read an email? Who wants to volunteer? Somebody volunteer.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, go.
As soon as I grab the thing.
You should probably refrain from volunteering until you have it right in front of you.
Okay.
Just saying. Just saying.
All right. Hello, host
He said
from
it
one of the
just now.
Hello, host from one of the best video game podcasts I've listened to recently. I'm writing this email because I can't call the show live anymore, but there are some topics that I've wanted to talk to you guys about. First of all, I've wondered, where do you get your news from? I remember listening to Nate saying something about how he loathes the journalistic media outlets with sites like Kotaku, IGN, and such. Now, I might sound like I'm shilling here, but recently there have been new video game outlets that, at least from what I've seen, do have integrity and respectable work ethics. Niche Gamer, Tech Raptor, The Gaming Ground are some of these news sites that bring freshness to the old, stagnant places. I recommend checking them out.
Yeah, some of those are all right.
Now, on to something completely different. I was listening to the anime episode, and
now for something completely different.
And now, here's something we hope you'll really like.
Metal Gear Survive.
You know, Rocky and Bullwinkle may very well be running Konami at this point.
Yeah.
You
No.
know
That's
what one of my
Boris
friends
and
said, Nate?
Natasha. Come on.
One of my friends said that Huey had not actually died, but faked his death, and then went and grew up and took care of and took over Konami, and that's why this is happening.
Could be.
I like the idea.
I thought it was clever.
Moose and squirrel.
In Russia, game plays you.
Nice.
Man. Love it.
Very nice.
Now on to something completely different. I was listening to the anime episode and really liked what everyone had to say on the matter, from your favorite shows to the first show you watched. I've watched a lot of anime shows, and I consider myself to be somewhat knowledgeable in the matter. Yes, there are a lot of shows for different people. Not everyone will like everything. From fantasy to slice of life to psychological horror, there is something for everybody. So if I can, I wish I could give you guys, specifically Nate, some recommendations. First of all, Nate, you said you like Akira, Evangelion, and I think you also said Ghost in the Shell. Listen to Nika and watch Psycho Pass. Futuristic utopia where not everything is as it looks and future criminals are incarcerated or shot dead depending on some random coefficient. Add some psychology and philosophy stuff and you've got a pretty great show you won't regret watching. Second, Fate Zero. Awesome. I don't think you'll like the other installments of the Fate franchise, but I'm sure you'll like Zero. Death game between 7 mages where you can see guerrilla tactics and one-on-one fighting between the characters. Did I mention that each mage summons a heroic spirit from the past, like motherfucking Alexander the Great? You'll see every character's conviction and ideals challenged here. Some will break, some will go on. That journey each character goes into is pretty good to watch till the end. Lastly,
what?
I don't know. My phone turned off.
Oh.
That's
Lastly,
that really was it. Okay, here we go. We got it back. Lastly, any movie by Satoshi Kon. The late director made several great films and one TV show with diverse themes, but if I had to recommend only one movie, it has to be Perfect Blue. A psychological...
I love Perfect Blue's phenomenal.
Well, then this guy might know what you're talking about.
Paprika's also really good, too.
A psychological thriller starring an idol that everything that involves life. There are some points that you will be wondering what is real and what is inside her head. This got a bit longer than I expected, so I'm going to finish here. Cheers to you and success to everything you do in the future.
Thanks very much for the email. Great email there. I'll take you up on some of those offers. I'm not
Psycho Pass is Psycho Pass Season 1 is my all-time favorite anime ever.
All right.
I'm socially awkward.
Right. I get it. I don't know about Fate Zero, but
all the Fates are like that. And actually, Unlimited Blade Works is way better.
Okay, yeah, I could probably. I'll
Psycho Pass you would like, Nana.
Fine. I believe you. If I get the time, I will definitely. I probably won't, but
I was gonna say he doesn't sound
I will definitely probably not.
Up your alley, seriously. Seriously, it's my favorite anime ever.
Okay, all right, I hear you. All right, real quick, this one comes to us from Dustin in Minneapolis. Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that if you didn't know already, but up here in Minnesota, we have a weekly game show on our sports radio station, KFAN 100.3.
Oh.
They do it Tuesday nights and also podcast it. It's a pretty big hit locally. Just wanted to let you know in case it's helpful for your case. I don't think you guys should have any problems getting it done because your show is way better than our local one, which I enjoy as well. Thanks so much for the great podcast. Love them all. Dustin from Minnesota. Yeah, not
cool.
Minneapolis. Thank you very much for that email. We appreciate it. And this gives us a bit of an opportunity to talk about the direction that we're going to be taking our content here in the future. We talked a little bit about this on Limit Break Radio, but we also wanted to make sure that we talked about this on Final Encountercast. So, one of the things that we've always really aspired to do on this show is to reach out to an audience that's maybe larger than a podcasting audience, right? Like what we do on this show is so intrinsically radio. Like it is a radio product. We've always thought about what we do, even though it's on Twitch, or even though we've got the cameras on us. It's not we don't think of our show as a YouTube show. We don't think of it as anything except a radio show. And it really, back in December, I had lost my job, and so I needed to get a plan together for what I'm going to do to be able to support myself. And, it doesn't matter if it's about video games or if it's about anything else. The only thing that I'm really good at is making radio. And so there's been an opportunity that's been put in front of us to make radio about video games and do it on a radio station, much like on KFAN
100.3.
But the cool thing is that we're looking to do it on such a much larger scale than just getting one radio station to give us an hour on a weekend, right? Like we're actually approaching this as a product that we already know that you're going to want. And not just you, but radio stations as well. And, because that's really the only thing that I know how to do. I know how to produce radio. And so what we're going to be looking at doing here shortly in the near future is launching an entirely new show, not dissimilar to Final Encounter Cast, but a bit more refined from what we do on Final Encounter Cast. FEC is a little bit more freeform, a little bit more open. We can talk news for 45 minutes if we want to. This is going to be a little bit more locked down, a little tighter,
It's going to be a aged Merlot, whereas FEC can be purchased in a box.
I don't know if that's an entirely apt analogy, but
Go touch his dick.
Nor do I think that that's an accurate drop. But look, we
all right. So comparisons like that and drops like that will not be featured on the new show.
Right. Exactly. No, we've always sought to make something that is bigger than I think a podcast. I think that we've always sought to have discussions bigger than just a podcast. And someone else has heard that. Someone else has heard that that potential that this show has, and has tapped us to create an entirely new show for a radio audience. So we're going to be doing that, and we're putting a lot of effort into doing that. We want to do it right, and we're hoping that you're going to come along with us, and that you're going to enjoy the ride, and you'll end up enjoying the show, because it's been by your support that we've been able to get this far. To make Final Encounter Cast a weekly product at all, that was because of your support. To make Final Encounter Cast in the first place, that was because of your support. We would have dragged our feet on doing the show for I don't know how long, but you guys came out on the Patreon page and said, we want it now. And we delivered. And what we ended up delivering was so surprisingly good that we've been able to convince other people who make these kind of decisions in media and in broadcasting to go, you bring something to the table that other shows don't, right? And I think what we do, by virtue of the fact that we understand the idea of having an audience, and we understand having specifically crafted content for you guys, but we also understand what the line between being too granular and too specific with our discussions are, and having discussions that are able to draw in everybody, that everybody is able to relate to and connect to. Because there's a ton of shows that you can trot out, and they'll tell you exactly what the DPS differences in the latest update to Overwatch are, or that can, break down ability trees like nobody else and give you the exact mechanical, numerical value down to every single portion of the game that they're talking about. And that's fine. You need people like that to be able to help other people understand the most efficient way to succeed at the game. You need people like that because these are the people that reverse engineer mechanics and reverse engineer the way that games work and are in fact probably very instrumental in coming up with new mechanics, because as you reverse engineer them, you figure out the very basics by which the games operate. And you can either take that, if you're a programmer, if you have it within you to be a programmer, if you have that knowledge, you take that with you. And you're able to dissect and in a very mechanical, objective way tell what games do well or don't do well. And what I am a little bit more concerned with are discussions that have a macro scope when talking about games, that can encapsulate and can really draw in anybody and everybody listening, whether you are a Pokemon Go enthusiast or whether you are playing Overwatch competitively, right? Like, we want this game, or we want this show to be able to have value to both those sets of players, and that is a very ambitious and difficult goal to have.
It's a fine line to walk.
It is, because a lot of people have that expectation, well, you need to be an expert. And you don't. I've worked in sports radio for long enough to know you don't. Those guys are considered experts, but what they do is they have large conversations about either concepts or large, big impacting things throughout the sports that they cover. And what they're able to do is have the big conversations where a fan can call up and give their opinion, and at the same time, a professional athlete can call up and they can be talking about the same topic. And what you don't see, and what a lot of time is not read on the air, is how many fucking text messages or Facebook posts there are going, "You're getting it wrong. This guy has a 3.5 RBI rating, and this guy, it's so granular, and none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. It does, but at the same time, it doesn't. Not for big conversations like that. That's our goal with this new show. We're trying to have it be something that everyone can enjoy. Not just hardcore players, not just hardcore esports fans, not just dedicated gamers, but anyone and everyone who has an appreciation for gaming and wants to sound off on the big topics, because gaming is the fastest growing media in this country and around the world. There needs to be a place to discuss it. And there needs to be a place where not only you can discuss it with seriousness, but you're also talking to people who get it. They also understand the community. They also understand the things that bind us together as gamers, and not just the things that you can read off of IGN, not just the things that, just the sense of gaming that you can get by reading a web page or interacting with a single YouTube video. We've been in the trenches doing this for 10 years. I truly believe that we are the perfect people to be doing a show like this. And I can't thank the amount of support that we've gotten from you guys. I can't thank you guys enough, because that has allowed us to get where we are. And this is very critical, because
To my knowledge, nothing has been attempted like this. Nothing of this scale has been attempted before. We're looking to be a national radio show. That's a big deal. Yeah. That is a big deal for us. And we're really excited to take you along on that journey. And we want to thank you for all of the support. And we want to remind you that we have no intention on changing the existing products that we have. We have no intention on changing the things that you guys supported in the first place. This is going to be additional content. It is that is funded independently of our patron campaign. But it's gonna bring in a couple of additional expectations. So it's gonna be an interesting ride, and I really hope that you're gonna stick along with us. Tell your friends, get more people to join to join the movement, and when you hear about it, try to get it in your area. Try to get your local stations involved. We're still gonna need your help. We're still going to need your help to spread the word here, guys. So thank you so much for your support and for tuning in this afternoon to Final Encounter Cast. We also want to thank everyone who joined us from at Safari Zone Go. If you're new to the channel, hit that follow button. Come back with us. We're here each and every Sunday starting at 5 p.m. Chat along with the show. If you're listening on the podcast, which can be found over at finalencountercast.com, we want to invite you guys to join us live. We didn't take any calls on this show, but we love to take calls here, and we'd love to hear from you. Final Encounter Cast on Skype, 810-207-1764. Put that in your phone or on your Skype friends list so that you can remember that for the future. Guys, that's going to be it here for Final Encounter Cast this week. Join us next week at 5 p.m. here at twitch.tv/Final Encounter Cast. If you live in the Detroit area and you want a chance to meet me, I'm going to be hanging out at the GM Ren Center as soon as we wrap this up. Not as soon, in a couple of hours, probably around 8, 9 o'clock. If you want to come to downtown Detroit and hang out with the Safari Zone Master, then
Balboa.
Hit me up.
Nady Balboa.
Hit me up on Twitter at Safari Zone Go and come hang out at the GM Ren Center. It's good Pokemon hunting. I want to thank my crew. We've got Len hanging out as well as Kooky Persona, who's been womaning the phone lines. And I want to thank the crew. We got Chris, Callie, Nika. My name's Nate. Have a good one. Final Encounter Cast is a production of finalencountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. For links to articles mentioned on this show, visit our live blog at finalencountercast.com. Final Encounter Cast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.